Welcome to the Palma International Boat Show, where we have got an opportunity to look round one of the largest production-built boats at the show. This is the Custom Line Navetta 33, and we've got a chance to look round the whole boat, top to bottom, crew quarters, guest quarters, engine room, absolutely everything. So really rare opportunity to see what a proper super yacht like this is all about. So what do you need to know? I guess first things always people want to know the price, and this one starts at about 12.85 million euros ex VAT. Obviously that's the base price, it will go up from there considerably. Few spec details while we're here. So it has twin MAN V12 engines of 1400 horsepower up to 1600 horsepower, top speed around about 16 knots. It's a semi-planing hull. It's their Navetta range, which are all about comfortable cruising rather than high performance. The full up weight is around about 180 tons, and it carries about 18,700 litres of fuel and 3,100 litres of water. So without more ado, let's get on and show you everything there is to see. Now, first up, notice this is an extending passerelle, and really nice to see solid rails. So often you get rope rails on these and they always just feel a little bit unsteady. So nice to see a really solid, secure passerelle. And into the cockpit. But before we get going on the boat itself, I'm just going to nip back down to the bathing platform and explain something quite special about what's going on in the garage here. And I think we're going to get a chance to look at that from the inside. But you can see this big transom panel here. Now, very cleverly, this is hinged at both the top and the bottom, and that can retract so that you can swing it open either way. So to open the garage, it swings up this way, and then you will find a really big Williams diesel jet tender in there and a jet ski. But equally, once you've launched the boats, you can swing it the other way and it will come down like this, and then it becomes a really big platform out over the sea where you can set up chairs and have a bit of a snooze in the sun or a drink on that beach platform. So coming up into the cockpit, you can see really big shaded cockpit area here, lots of nice detail, loads of scatter cushions, freestanding furniture, and always nice to just see how big the deck gear is on a boat like this. Look at the size of some of these cleats and hydraulic winches. Now, this is an asymmetric design, meaning that you get different height decks on different sides of the boat. So if we look down this one, you can see there are steps leading up to the next deck, whereas if you look down this one, it ends halfway along so that you can get a full beam cabin in front of that. And I'll explain a little bit more about that when we get inside. But whilst we're on this deck, I did want to show you one of the special features, which is a huge folding balcony. Now you can see you've got controls for that here, lock, unlock, and then the balcony switches, and that folds down out over the sea. Big door opens up here into the saloon, so you have this wonderful terrace over the sea. You can come straight out of the saloon onto the platform. They've set up ropes around it and railings, make it feel nice and safe, but very cool to have that, especially from inside the yacht. So let's start on the main deck level. We can see we've got big sliding doors leading into the saloon, and this is a fantastic area. Immediately you walk in here, it's lovely and cool, the air conditioning is on, there's this nice dark neutral colours. You see we've still got the shades down, it's really quite hot in here during the day, so they've kept the shades down, but really lovely big chilled space. Now, there's a big storage unit here. I'm not going to show you every single cupboard, but there is one feature I rather wanted to show you. That in here we have a couple of switches, which if I press the right one, is that the right one or is that the right one? Ah, there we go. So you can see that coming out of this is a huge widescreen television. So I won't do that all the way, but you can get the idea that there's a massive TV that comes out the side of that, and then you can watch TV from the seating area over on that side. So I'm just going to close that up, make sure that doesn't get in anyone's way. And then move forward. Now this is the door I was showing you from outside. I don't know if we can just briefly pull back the curtain, but you can see that whole door opens up and then you've got that lovely terrace over the sea. Big dining area forward, and it's the kind of space to spare that really strikes you. Normally when you've got an open plan saloon like this, there's a piece of furniture in here or it all feels a bit cramped. There's just masses of floor space all around this table. You can see that's got 10 seats arranged around it. Even got a little bit of breakfast going on by the looks of things. I don't think we'll get stuck into that just yet. But if we move forward through here, let's see one of the main benefits of this, which is the main deck master suite. But on the way in, you'll notice there is a day head on this starboard side. Again, really handy to have somewhere up on the main deck that you don't have to go down into the cabins below. And then this is where it starts to become full beam. So the side deck ends at this point, and then we've got a full beam main deck owner's suite, which, look at this. How fabulous is that? Massive king-size bed. Lovely dark neutral tones. A few details on the shelves up above. I'm not going to poke around in here because the owner is actually sleeping on board or staying on board at the moment, so I don't really want to nose around in his own cupboards and affairs. But you can see there's lovely big windows on either side. The shades are still down at the moment. And then ensuite bathroom further forward. Beautiful marble. See all the kind of striations in there. Lovely big shower, which you can actually access from both sides. It's a, I'll go around the other side to show you how that works, but if you come through here, you can see on this side you can also access a shower from here, and this is where the loo is as well. Really high quality build and finish on these custom lines. They always feel really sturdy. There's no particular issue with weight, so they just build it as heavy and strong and solid and high quality as they want to. Lovely sofa area on the starboard side, and I think that you can see there is a sliding access to a large walk-in wardrobe in there. Again, I'm not going to poke around, I don't want to intrude on the privacy, but very cool sliding mirrored door giving access to that walk-in wardrobe. So let's drop down to the lower deck now, because this is where the guest accommodation is. I'll try and keep you informed of where we are. It's such a big yacht, it's quite easy to get lost on board. But here we have all of the main guest cabins. So we're now forward on the port side. See, there's a big double here. Lots of storage space. I don't think these will be occupied. So you can see beautiful lit hanging wardrobe, controls for all the air conditioning, lovely opening ports, big TV in the bulkhead opposite, obviously ensuite bathroom, that same lovely marble, walk-in shower. And to be honest, this is pretty much repeated in all four of the cabins down here. So this one is similar, but obviously a twin. I think there is, by the looks of things, there is a Pullman berth in there too, or there's certainly an option for it. I can't see if that one's actually got it fitted. But two single beds, much the same layout, big windows, very smart bathroom. And then now we're moving towards the stern of the boat. And here we are on the port side again, another one of those big doubles. Very similar bathroom. Slightly different shape, but all the same attention to detail. And again, if we come round here, we're now on the starboard side, again facing aft at the moment. Another big double. Interesting artwork. Big TV opposite the bed. Storage obviously in all of these around here. And another bathroom, effectively a mirror image of the one we've just been in on the port side. But you're not really going to be wanting. If you're lucky enough to be invited on a boat like this, all 4 of the guest cabins are more or less identical in size and all the same standard of fit, finish and comfort. So while we're up here, we'll stay on the main deck just for the moment. So we're back in the saloon, and what I wanted to show you is how this leads through to the galley and the crew area. So this is this is well above the 24-metre load line length, so it is a fully crewed yacht, and I think they usually operate with 5 or 6 crew on board. So there is a door here that can be slid across, but it obviously provides really convenient access for all the crew to serve any of the guests here in the dining area. And I'm told they have a really excellent chef on board, one of the most important people of the crew. You can see we've got a wine fridge here, got an oven, so this is kind of the pantry area where they can keep everything warm and serve it. And then through the main event. Hello, chef.
Hi.
I've got some very good and there's some fabulous smells coming through from here.
Thank you so much.
Are you preparing lunch or?
I'm preparing lunch and also the dinner for tonight.
What's for dinner then?
Look, it's a royal crab.
Whoa, king crab, Alaskan king crab.
Exactly.
That looks fantastic and a lovely smell coming from there. So you can see professional standard galley. You happy with all the kit in here?
Yeah.
Very good. Lots of freezer space, lots of chiller space.
And wood fire, yes.
Thank you very much for showing us. And then this leads through into the crew area, and they have very kindly given me permission to have a quick nose around. So please excuse any morning. Thank you very much. Are you okay for have a very quick look?
Yes, you can do it.
You're so kind, thank you. So they have a mess area here. You can see this is the laundry. We've got 2 washers, 2 dryers, absolutely full commercial spec. Now I think there are 3, if not 4 crew cabins down here. Anybody in here?
Hi.
Oh, hi. Somebody already doing the ironing, but you can see there's a twin cabin in there. I think there's a bathroom in there. I won't go in there. I think there's another twin cabin in there and another one in there. I might just knock, see if it's possible to have a quick peek. You can see, that is the chef's cabin, so there's a single cabin there. And I think there is another cabin in there. 2 further bunks in there. So very generous of them to let me have a quick look round, but you can see it is a proper, fully crewed, professional standard yacht. The storage under those stairs, I won't lift up and show you, but there's masses of extra storage there. And then, of course, there is access out onto the side deck here so that they can come and go via the side decks too. So this is the port side deck, and there are steps up from here. So I think we'll carry on up here and show you how that all links up, because there is access to the bridge here. So we might just see if we can have a quick look in here. Knock, knock.
Yeah,
Do you mind if I have a very quick look in here?
Please come in.
Thank you. This is the captain who has very kindly shown us around the yacht and give us a bit of permission. So why don't you explain this, because you know this far more than me, far better than me. So
well, here
what have we got?
Different screens, right, that we can select what we want to see. For example, with this selector, we can select the plotter, we can select the radar, we can select the thermal camera, we can select the CCTV cameras. On this panel here, what we find is different systems that we can check. For example, if we put service, we could check the cabin lights that actually are on right now.
So all those little yellow dots are all the cabin lights that are on?
We're going to turn them all on for the video. Right. And you've got different things here that you can, for example, the trim, the instruments, we can go to engines.
All the detail. You can check everything on board the yacht.
The generator from here
Wow.
as well.
And is that right? You can even check which portholes are open? And
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Navigation, we'll have a fire system instruments. We've got the levers as well.
so you can control the whole
Yes.
yacht from on board.
This is
And this screen here, that's enormous.
Yes.
We've got a little bit of flicker on that, but who makes that screen? That's the...
It's Team Italia iBridge. That's the custom bridge solution that all the system is
So they've
by them.
made the whole system so that you can
Yes.
keep an eye on everything at once.
Correct.
On that huge widescreen glass bridge.
Correct.
Very
The
nice.
reason why we've got two is in
Yeah.
case one fails,
Okay.
we've got the other one for backup. So that's very handy to have.
And in terms of stabilization?
Yes, we have 2 seat keepers, and we've also have some flaps, some
Fins.
It's a fin.
So you use the fins when you're running and the
correct.
seakeepers when you're at anchor.
Correct.
Perfect. And have you got a little desk and cabin up here?
Yes, I've got my computer here that I do a lot of paperwork as well.
Fantastic.
We've got all the GMD SS systems, the radios. This is to communicate with different parts of the boat. For example, the stern, the bow, the crew area, the engine room. I can communicate with them.
Amazing.
So I have to call them or something.
And then you have your cabin
Yes,
right next to
correct.
it.
Please, come in.
Well, after you.
Here we have the captain's always on duty, so he has his cabin here with his window to check what's going on. My private toilet with my shower.
Wow.
And this has a door that slides. That anytime when someone's on watch, they can just knock and I'll get open and see what emergency.
So at night when you're at anchor, you can have a bit of a kit, but
Yes.
still be easily accessible
yes.
if there is anything that you need to deal with.
Correct. Here we have by law a system that it's a movement system that we activate, and if there's no movement in the bridge for 10 minutes, an alarm will set off because they want someone moving here.
So if somebody falls asleep
Yes,
on
correct.
watch.
Correct.
Wow.
That will give a sound alarm
Yeah.
here and in the crew area, alerting that there's no one.
So even
on
at night, there is always somebody constantly on watch.
when we are in anchor
Yeah.
and navigating, there always has to be here someone watching and moving to make sure he's awake.
Very impressive. Thank you very much for
You're
showing
welcome,
us around.
you're welcome.
Thank you
very
so much. Right, so might just see if we can come through. No, let's carry on to the foredeck whilst we're here. So the other thing to notice, as well as all the controls in the main bridge, you can see we've got wing stations on either side. Where do we lift those up? There we go. You can see we've got throttles and it has twin hydraulic thrusters, so one for the bow, one for the stern, and being hydraulic, they are super powerful. So you really can pin the boat to the dock if you want to, use it to push the bow around, push the stern around. Really handy because you can stand here and then look back down the port deck, obviously stay in communication with your crew who are usually at the stern, telling you how close you are to the dock. And then a fabulous sunbathing area up here. Absolutely enormous spread of sun pads, big seating area in front of the screen. You can see we've got the shades on in the sunlight today to try and keep it cool. And then further forward from here, there's more of a crew working space. And you can see it's got twin anchors on board this boat, really heavy duty anchoring gear because it is a heavy old boat this. So you want absolutely top spec kit. And if this is open, I think we can get a little bit of an idea. You might just see, you can see you've got two huge chain lockers. So look at the thickness of that chain. It's all color coded so you can see how much you've put out, as well as storage for extra oil and fuel and so on. Right, let's just see if we can lower that down again. Okay, so just looking back, get some idea of the scale of how big she is. And at this level, so we're now one deck above the main deck level, you have got walk-around decks on both sides. So you can see that runs down there, and again, a second wing station here. Exactly the same as the one on the other side, so if you're coming in starboard side too and you get a better view from here, you can control the ship from here. So there is a access door out from both sides, so the captain can come and go, immediately get out to these wing stations. Let's see if we can move along this side deck here. Might just need to check that the owner was having a meeting here, but they're very kindly vacated it. So this is now the upper deck. There is another deck above this, rather amazingly, but let's have a look around here while we can. See, there's another big dining area here. Very nice, because you get the elevated views from here. You still get shade from the next deck above. We've got facilities here, so the crew can serve you up here too. We've got fridges and ice makers. Beautifully sheltered. These little extensions here make sure that it's very sheltered from any apparent breeze. And then we've got the sky deck lounge, effectively. So a lovely full enclosed lounge. You can see we've got the sliding doors there, so they can be pushed all the way back, so it all becomes open to that aft deck area, but equally you can close it all up and have a really cozy sky deck lounge enjoying those fabulous views. and leading forward from here. So you can see this does come back towards the bridge deck, but again there is a second pantry up here, so crew can serve you food from up here too if you want to eat on this deck level. They don't have to bring everything down from the deck below and back into the bridge, which we've just seen. So let's move back through here. That is the access up from the main deck level, so you can come in from the interior of the yacht as well as along the side decks. And you can see staircase leading back down to the aft cockpit, the main deck cockpit, and steps up to the upper deck. So hang on a minute, if this is the upper deck, what do you call that one? The sky deck?
We call it sun deck.
The sun deck. Okay, so let's go up to the sun deck. And here we are on the sun deck. So we are now 2 full decks above. And how glorious is this? So this is the absolute open space here. We've got lovely freestanding sun lounges right up at the top here. There is still a hard top giving some level of degree of shade if you want to up here. So it is a really very tall yacht for 106 foot. It's a very tall yacht. So you can see why you might want those stabilizers to make sure it stays nice and steady. Now there's one little detail up here that I really would love to show you. I think it's probably my favorite detail on the whole boat. And this is the emergency cocktail button. I'm not sure if you can see, there is a little engraving of a cocktail glass there. And all it is, it's just a little bell for summoning the crew. Because frankly, on a yacht like this, if you're running low on your daiquiri or your gin and tonic, it is pretty close to an emergency. You press that button and one of the lovely crew will come running and make sure they top up your drink. We've also got, obviously, controls for all the external lights up here, the speaker system. There's a really good onboard sound system up here. You can essentially turn this into your full-scale open-air nightclub. Of course, there is an outdoor galley up here. We've got a big sink. We've got a grill. I'm sure there are countless fridges and ice makers here. There absolutely are. So hopefully the crew won't have to come too far. There's probably one here already. And you can see forward up here is a jacuzzi. So what a place to enjoy a bit of chilling out in the hot tub, way up on the sun deck. Fantastic views all around. Got sun pads either side. Lots of locker spaces all around. Another sun pad here. And just look at the view, take in that view of Palma Harbour, cathedral in the background, and the whole of the Palma International Boat Show beneath us. But in a secluded anchorage, drink in hand, in the hot tub, I can't think of many nicer places to be. So let's make our way gradually back down through the yacht, and we'll see if we can have a peek at the engine room. Remind me, so you're the engineer?
Exactly.
Fantastic. Can we have a look at your engine room?
Let's go.
So big pantograph tour. After you, you lead the way. So these are some of the railings. What are these railings for? Are they for the...
They're for the balcony.
They're for the balcony, so that's where they store.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this is where the real action happens. So what have we got here?
We got
One of the water makers, 2 water
two
makers.
water makers. Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Master
There's
system.
all the filtration systems for the water makers.
Exactly.
So here,
Here we have
electrics.
all the panels, all the switches, everything you can get control from here.
Okay, so this is pretty much a replica of what the captain showed me up on the bridge.
Exactly.
So you can keep an eye on all that too from here.
Exactly. We
Okay.
have all the panels from here.
And then what happens through here?
Here we can get to
Ah, ha, ha. This is what I wanted to show you.
nice toys.
So this is the garage that I talked about from up on the bathing platform, and now we are inside the garage, and you can see exactly what I mean by that. So here is the Williams diesel jet tender. Can you remind me what size it is?
It's a 505.
505, so the 505 diesel jet tender, and the great thing about it being a diesel jet is you can then use the main yacht supply of diesel, and in fact, if you look over there, on the wall there is a proper diesel pump. So you can literally fill up your boat from the main tank on board the ship. And there you can, of course, see a Sea-Doo Spark jet ski as well. And if you look right further forward, I can see a couple of sea bobs hanging on the wall. So that is a very impressive toy cupboard. And this is the deck which hinges both ways. So it opens upwards to launch the boats. And then once you've launched them, it folds back from the bottom out to become that deck area. So a couple of carbon fibre poles. I think that's for one of the bimini covers. But let's make our way back out. You can see access a bit more storage down there. And then coming forward again, we're now heading towards the bow.
Here we have the emergency steering system.
So emergency steering.
Exactly.
So if all else fails, you've got hydraulic steering that you can directly take control of the rudders.
Exactly.
Presumably somebody is telling you where to go at that point. Fantastic.
And here's the actual heart of the boat.
So this is the very heart of the boat, the engine room itself. So we've got twin MAN, what
V12,
horsepower?
1,400.
So these are the 1,400 horsepower V12 MAN diesel engines. Huge silencers over each of the engines to help keep it as quiet as possible. But you can see, relatively speaking, for such a big yacht, they're not that huge, the engines. Or even more lighting, that's perfect. Now this looks rather special. Is this the fuel polishing system?
Exactly, that's an alpha lavon. It
So-
separates and cleans the fuel to transfer to the main, from the main tank to
Yeah.
the daily tanks.
So you have a big main bunker, effectively, and then every day you pump and filter
Exactly.
the fuel that you're going to use for that day. Very slick. And then either side I can see two big generators, so two very large Kohler generators. Do you know what power they are?
The Model 3000.
So Model 3000.
3500.
Do you know what kVA they are?
Quite.
A lot. Very
Yeah,
powerful.
More than enough, yeah.
Excellent. So absolute redundancy for everything. You can see twin filters for everything in addition to that fuel polishing system. And still it goes on. And you notice how they're all in their own separate areas. So it's not all in one space where you're having to work with hot, noisy engines. You can come and work on different systems. They're all fully sealed with these watertight doors. So what have we got here?
We have a Hammond system, which is to clarify the black water.
Brilliant. So
So we can
you've got a black
connect.
water tank, but if you need to empty out at sea, you can completely filter it and effectively just put out clean water.
Exactly.
That's very clever, isn't it?
And the gyro.
Ah, there are the twin Seakeeper gyros. You can see those tucked under there, well out of the way. But two of those, and again, at anchor, they are the best means of stabilizing it because they hold it absolutely steady with no movement on the boat. Whereas once you're underway, the fins take over and they provide even more power underway.
Yeah.
And then you've got a bit of a workbench.
Workbench, tools,
Wow.
loads of hydraulics.
And this,
here.
oh my goodness, just goes on forever. Fantastic. Thank you very much for showing me round. So that is the Custom Line Navetta 33, a really proper semi-displacement, long-range cruising vessel. You cruise around at about 10 knots. I believe at 10 knots you're burning around, I think it's 200 litres per hour per engine. So at that kind of speed you definitely get a transatlantic range, but equally it's the kind of boat you're going to be just as comfortable whether you're at anchor in a Mediterranean marina or doing a serious passage. You can cruise along at 10 knots. It will go up to about 15, 16, but I'm told that most of the time it's more comfortable, more efficient, more refined cruising at 10. So I hope you've enjoyed that special insight into a really big super yacht. It is a production built, but semi-custom interior. Thank you very much for watching. Do please let me know in the comments what you make of the boat. Always interested to see what you think, and I look forward to catching you on the next video.